Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Yep. So we're here on this kind of special day. It's all the news and stuff. So we'll see what comes of this. But yeah. So we're here to work on maps and stuff. So anyone who watches this, yeah, double trouble. Yes, Troy, it's double trouble. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's Linda Booth and me, and I'm Anna B. Meyer, and we're going to work on maps and stuff. I'm going to work in Photoshop, working on my Southland terrain today. So I'm going to figure out how to best edit an image that is 65,000 pixels from one end to the other. So that is the goal today. Is not to best make the best end result, but it's also the main goal is to figure out the best way of editing an image that is too large to be edited in Photoshop. That's the
You're
that's
bound
the.
and you're bound and determined to burn people's computers up, aren't you?
Well, I start with my own, so at
Sheesh.
least I'm fair in that sense. I start with my own. Yep.
You already started trying burning mine up. I
Mm-hmm.
can't even run your maps half the time on mine. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God. Mine panics every time I say Anna Meyer. It goes,
Yep.
nope,
Mm-hmm.
nope, nope, nope.
It can says if the file comes from me, it's kind of screw up
Yep.
the computers and stuff.
It's
So
like, oh no,
yep.
another one.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we have a good time with it.
Yep. And
Usually I can handle most of it. So
yep. And the stream seems to work. We have zero dropped frames in the first couple of minutes here, so that's a good start. So that's yeah.
good start. Yep,
We've
yep.
been live for 10 minutes and we have zero dropped frames. So it's a good sign that it actually works. So yep. So I'm
And
sorry, I'm still having my snack here. So because all the news and all the stuff going on, I didn't have time to snack before we started this.
that's okay. 90% of the time I'm nibbling on something.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
have my snack ready to go too. I have chocolate covered coffee beans.
Oh,
Dark
okay.
dark chocolate covered
Mm-hmm.
coffee beans to
Yep.
snibble, whatever that word is. Um, so I can game later on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm working in Blender. I downloaded a bunch of assets from Megascans,
Okay.
actual FBX files, which are the ones I can use in Blender.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they've been triangulated. So they look like this.
Uh-oh.
I can't use that in Unreal to make it look nice.
Yeah.
Um, it's what they supply for Unreal to use Unreal users. But what I can't figure out is, let me save this real quick. Save
And I'm going to
as.
put you
We're
on
gonna
top there for
go
a bit, so they can see what you're doing here. So yep.
steps. We'll call it steps one, just so
Hello,
I can
Mike.
save it.
Yep. And I just saw your
And
message about the geoff thing.
get
I'm very interested. So yep.
one back in here. Victorian Mansion. Steps one blend. We'll save that for just a moment. I want to show you
Yep.
guys the way I get these files and
Mm-hmm.
what I cannot figure out. Let's go new general, brand new file. All right, so I'm going to import one of the files I downloaded from Megascans, which I take Unreal Engine, go into the Megascans Bridge program,
Mm-hmm.
download the things to Unreal, and then I export them from Unreal. So it's a little weird pipeline,
Okay.
but it's perfectly legal to do because they're
Mm-hmm.
free assets.
Okay. Yep.
And if I can find it, where did my files go? I'm going to open one that I downloaded. I downloaded the whole Victorian Mansion section, which is like sections of walls and staircases and newel posts and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But I'm going to do like just take a wooden door, just for example, and that's what it looks like when I get it. Whoops. That's what it looks like when I get it.
Yeah.
So it's there,
Mm-hmm.
you can see the detail. But the cool thing is when you highlight it and then you move it along the x-axis, say just you want to take the whole thing, and most of the time when you take something and move it, it moves the whole object.
Yeah.
This one doesn't. Look at how it does it. It goes, you move it, moves it to the side. It gives you 5 exact copies
Oh
in
yeah,
one
that's.
file,
Mm-hmm. You showed me another little thingy that was the same
Yep,
way. It was like a
which
Russian
is
doll. It was one inside the other, inside the other. So yeah.
right. And I can't figure out why they've done that.
Uh-huh.
But then I was
Yeah.
looking at them closer, and if you look at them, each one is a different level of detail. It's weird.
Ah.
So I think what they've done is they've packed all of the LODs,
Mm-hmm.
which is
In a single object or
level of
yeah.
details, in
Mm-hmm.
one object,
Yeah.
which
So that
doesn't
means
really work for my stuff.
yeah. So that means
So
that you have to manually do. I thought that was something that uh, Unreal can do automatically, so to speak. But
It can,
uh-huh.
but if you're not worrying about LODs, which if you're building like an interior scene, you're not worried about
No, then
LODs.
you yeah, you have a small
So,
little space where you
right.
can yeah.
So since these are all all internal assets, I'm getting rid of all the extra stuff and
Mhm.
making them nice, clean
Yeah.
models that I could
Mhm.
use over and over, and I could use as patterns for making my own models in the
Yeah.
future. So that's what I'm working on tonight is going through all these um, models and cleaning them up, making them nice, clean meshes,
Mhm.
and um, trying to get them also the same style of trim is used and things in them.
Yeah.
Because when I took the existing assets and tried to put them together in Unreal, none of the trim lined up. The steps were different heights. The newel posts
Okay.
didn't line up. I was
Mhm.
like, how am I supposed to do this?
Yep.
This is not a pack that you can just take and load together.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah. And
But anyway,
yeah, and I'm going to try, like I said, I'm going to try and figure out a way to manage because this
steps.
is a 64K image. It's 65,536 pixels. It's a square image, so each side is 65,000. And if we zoom in here, we can go to an area here and we can just keep zooming in and 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 here is 60% resolution and we can zoom in and we can zoom in and we can zoom in and here is 128 116 so I can go this is 100% resolution so this is really high resolution and even on my computer it's a little bit unwieldy. Yeah, there's some things that you can't do like camera filters and there's some effects in Photoshop that you can't really work on an image like this in one go, so you have to do it so do it in pieces. So what I'm going to try out now is to section out the image. I want to have a section that I can copy and paste, so I need to establish either a mask or but masks take a lot of in channels you can add mask channels, but they take a lot of space. So I'm going to try and use a trick that takes a little bit less. So I'm going to do the rectangle tool here and just have a shape and just put a shape over the area of interest here. So I'm going to take these hills and work on this area to begin with. And that's 24,000 pixels or something like that. That is hopefully manageable. So, and then I'm going to remove the fill and I'm going to change the stroke to a red just for the heck of it. And then I'm going to, and I don't need to have, I'm not going to have a stroke at all. And then um, lock it and rename it. So I'm taking all that area. I'm just gonna call it that. And now what I can do is that I can just use click, a control click on this, and then I get a mask. And then I can just copy all of this into a new, and then I can paste it back in per layer, so to speak. And that way I can get an edit that I can, because I need to have it pixel correct, so I can take things in and out from the main. And this is like the vault where I have all the stuff, and that way I can take it out from the main stuff and use it in. So I will take the texture at the bottom here and just copy that one, and now use the clipboard here and paste it in. And here I have the texture, and the reason it doesn't look that all of a sudden it looks very washed out, it's because this is only the texture, and in order for it to look that way I need to take this and copy this and paste this one in here too and switch that one to hard light. And it still doesn't look the way, but what I need to do is I need to take, can you copy the settings? I'm just gonna save those settings, and now I go in here and I create levels preset, and I do this. I load the presets, and then I load. And this is one of the hidden gems in Photoshop, is that you can actually load presets. And now I think I'm almost there. There's probably a couple of other stuff that I need to do in order to I have the exposure, this one too.
Wow.
Yeah,
This is crooked. Oof. Sorry. Just trying to get my brains wrapped around what they did here. X0, scale Z, 0. All right.
Photoshop settings and -1. There we go. Yeah, Troy. That is really that you
The
can
hoof
almost
prints.
you can almost see
Hmm.
the hoof prints. Yep.
Yep,
So now
definitely can.
now I can put in an about I can delete the bottom one here, and now I can put on top of this one I can put in an exposure, and then I can load. And I always wonder why I always go back into the presets that are. I want to save my presets in Dropbox, so I have it saved. It saves it in the directory of the program folder. So when you uninstall it, it disappears or something. And to me, that's ridiculous. So so I always want to.
Oh, I don't have
Here we go.
screencast on tonight. Let's do that.
Exposure. Yes. Now it looks the same as the other one here. So perfect.
All right.
But so what I want to do is, maybe I'll try and maybe I'll now I'm not sure if I want to um, I'll skip that for now and work with the exposure right now, because sometimes it's good to work with the exposure, because here I have the original textures, and if I remove this, this is what the texture looks like when it comes out, and it's too. So the goal is to tweak it so it looks good without the exposure and the level changes and all that. But but here is the magic in Photoshop. What I've done is that you can remove the shading. So the shading is a separate layer on top that actually, so if I to normal, so this is what the shading looks like. It's a gray image that World Machine generates, and it actually looks like this when it comes out of World Machine. And what I do is that I change this to, you can change it either to multiply, and it looks a little bit washed out like this, or you can use overlay, then it's a little bit too bright. So I've come up with, I use hard light. It looks very washed out like this, but then you put a levels on it and boom, it's there. So this is a way of, so this way I can actually adjust the levels here, so I can have shading that is stronger and or fainter and stuff as needed, so to speak. So if I want to have an area more shaded or less shaded, I can work back and forth with it. So that's the the basic idea. Now I just need to take, because I have another problem here, is that part of this area is something I did for the earlier version when I did a small test area, so I need to copy that test area in here. So that's why I have the, I can do this. Yeah. So this might be a tedious way of doing it, but we'll see if it works. If it works, it's good.
Same with mine. It's a tedious way of doing it, but I
Yep.
want the staircase that I don't have to build for a change.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
just sometimes you just get to that point where it's like, I don't feel like building another
Yep.
staircase.
And I will touch, because I need to take masks and everything back and forth here. So what I'll do is that so this one I'm going to test because I'll copy this area, and because now comes the tricky bit, because there and the tricky bit here is that this is a water layer that I've added on top, a blue layer that I've added on top of the water to make it more uniformly blue. And here you have the color, and then you have the mask here on the right. So I need to first, I'm copying the color. So I have the color, the
Arc.
basic
Yeah.
texture color layer. So I copy that, go into here and put it, and hang on a second, I need to see if it's over the exposure layer. So yeah,
Nobody
so
saw that.
put that one there. No, I distracted them. So here we go.
That's good. That's good because I made a
Yep.
stupid newbie
hmm
mistake.
So now we have blue everywhere. So what I need now is to go and select not the layer but the mask, and then I'll copy the mask, hopefully, and then I'll create a mask, and then I alt click and then paste into, I hope, paste in place. Yeah, kind of, but I need to, there we go. And then I click outside. Yes, it worked. So I think, and that is lighten is the, so I change this to lighten. There we go. So now this should look almost identical to that. Yes, now I just need to take this and do the same thing that. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to duplicate the layer because I need to apply that layer mask, and then copy that layer and go in here. We can do it above there and paste. And it didn't paste in the right spot, so we can undo paste. Do we have a paste, special paste in place? But it didn't work because the image is, oh, now I need to lock these things in place here. But I can manually go in and change. I just need to put all of these layers, lock them down so that I don't accidentally move them. That's really important when you work with stuff like this, because I've done that mistake before, and then I realized long afterwards that damn, that layer is actually, I moved it and I have no clue exactly where it's supposed to be, and that have ruined or delayed some projects quite some time. So yeah.
I do that all the time with my projects, and it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
good thing I reset it to 144 steps. I can go back because I
Yeah.
make a mess once in a while. And it's like, oh man, newbie mistake. Stop it.
Yeah.
Or I'll get carried away and just chatting with somebody, and then I'll be doing this, and it's like, oh, that's not what I want to do. Then I got to figure out how many steps I have to go back and fix it. But luckily, I don't do that too often when we're working. So
Yeah. Now I need to double check. We have some issues. I need to check the lakes and stuff. Here we go. This is the one, because here is I have the closest fit. So now I just need to go in here and
heck did they do?
move the lake texture in here. So there, I think we got the.
There to there.
Oh, that was too much.
That one.
That's where we have it. Okay, now I can lock it down. Okay, so now I have a more manageable chunk of the map. So now I can go in here and start tweaking it a bit. I still want to keep the big the big map open, because this is where I will paste the result back and forth, and I might want to have other stuff. So first I need to go over the ugly bits and do the general tweak to the bottom texture here. So um, I want to tweak because these mountains here are too dark, so I need to have them um, brighten them and stuff a little bit, so and tweak the. So I should probably make a copy. First I'm going to save down the I'm going to make okay, I'm going to save this as a new file name before I screw up, and then I'm going to test things here. So there we go. And while that one is saving, I can actually test it here. So I'm going to merge this one down, the exposure layer. And right now I'm trying to merge layers and save another file at the same time. But oh, it worked. Yep, good. I should probably not do that. I should probably take a little break here and just let this save while I'm
Are you being a happy clicker again?
yes, I'm being a happy clicker. So now I can look at what you're doing for a minute here while I'm saving this up. So
I'm just trying to figure out the architecture, what they did on the shapes and things of these steps, because it looks like they have a straight line here and then it curves back under and then it goes straight down again. And it's confusing. So I'm just trying to
yeah,
get my geography right.
the stair
Uh,
geography. Yeah.
yeah, which isn't easy because they got so many triangles. This is what happens when you take a nice clean mesh and make it triangulated. They say you have to do it, but I
Yep.
say bull. I call them bull on that one every time because Unreal Engine handles everything you can throw at it, unless it's a very, very complex, like a landscape or something like that. Then yes, triangulate the heck out of it.
Yeah.
But if you're working with architecture, don't. Please don't. Because then
So
you
when
just end up making a mess out of it for
yeah, so when
yourself.
it's more like traditional 3D models, so to speak, then yeah.
Right. When you're doing like terrain where it has a lot
hmm
of different angles and things like that, then definitely do the triangulation. So
Yeah.
you can use what's called nanite,
hmm
which
Yeah.
allows you to use like
Oh, you
billions
need to
of
triangulate
vertices.
in order to use nanite.
Right, right.
hmm
But don't do it on like simple models like this.
Yeah.
This is silly. There's no
hmm
reason to do triangulation on these. Unless someone could tell me 100% why I would do this, I'm going to stick with my reasoning of don't ever do it because it
hmm
just makes a mess out of your models. And somebody will probably shoot me down right and left, but hey, I'm going to stick firm until I know a perfect reason. So,
hmm
um, because everything I've done, I run into problems with this all the time on models that I download, and it's just like annoying because then you have to try and figure out how to fix them,
Yep.
which is a pain. Um, this is not going where I wanted it to. Take nabbit.
Yep. I think this this file has broken 100 GB in size, I think.
Holy jeez.
Yeah, I think it's 100 GB in size. Somewhere
Yep.
close, and so that's why and my computer kind of chokes a little bit on it. Doesn't it takes a while for Photoshop to start saving it and
I think Photoshop itself is dying and going, ugh, excuse me,
yeah, so we'll see
because you
here.
got that new computer, so that should be going crazy.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
saying, I'm in love with this.
um yeah, so now I'm actually going to see how big it might not have grown that big before, but the previous one was 80, so 64K here. She lands one, and oh, it's not that big yet. It's only 26, 27, yeah, 20, 29. So 30 terabytes, so gigabytes so far. So yeah, 28.5 already. So
Well,
yeah,
that's not bad at all
no,
then.
it's not bad at all. But I summed up all. I had another version where I put in all the layers in it, and that one was 100. But then now it goes to 55% here. So this one is not that terrible. This one only has a few, but I put in all the big not Altamira. I have all the big layers, all the masks and stuff in there, and all the textures, and that one went through the roof. This one is not that bad. I only have one,
So
two.
So now it's
Three,
not only
five,
you trying to kill
six.
your computer, now it's Jay trying to do it too.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yep.
helping. He helps me kill my computer. So yeah.
Yep. 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 Okay. I knew he was guilty of something.
Yeah, but I'm really happy with how the train looks like because there's some really cool little places and nooks and crannies in here. So so it's going to be super fun to start detailing this.
Your work is always fun to watch because it's like I never know how to do half of it, and I'm just like, God, I want to learn how to do that, but I don't want to take 20 years to do it. No, 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 no. So I'll stick to Blender. I can at least fudge my way through that.
Okay, so now I need to
All right,
do
get back into orthographics so I can see and move
deselect
easier.
here. Yep.
Um,
So now I'm going to merge the exposure down here, so I bake that in the texture, and then
whoops, that's not
bake
what I
the other
wanted to
way.
do.
Okay. Yep.
Let's do center.
Because I have a
That's
little bit
better.
of a weird off color here that I need to tweak it. It looks a little bit weird. The colors are slightly off here, so I need to tweak the color. The watercolors are roughly within range, but the other ones, the green is slightly iffy, so that's something I will tweak. But I don't want to tweak all of it uniformly. I want to tweak some areas a little bit this way, some other areas a little bit the other way. So that way you get more organic because landscapes don't have they have similar colors and but they don't have exactly the same colors all over the place.
Oops,
So
backwards.
I
Sorry,
want to
Mike.
have natural variation simply due to editing it in a lot of different places. So but I wanted to save
Mhm.
under a new so I didn't screw up the file I started with. So and this is the reason I want to work with smaller because now when I merge a layer it takes 5 minutes and I don't want that. So 65,000 is it's a good way to store the information and I can copy it in and out of. So this is my savings account, so to speak. So I don't want to use work in it. So that's why I want to have smaller parts. So I'm thinking 25,000 is something I worked with before, and it seems to even on my old computer 25,000 was reasonable to work with. So there we go, and now I'll take this layer and put it down there and this might work. Yeah, this looks reasonable. So now I'll take these three layers and I merge them together. So this is now testing to
What
see
I
if it
want
works
to.
here.
There we go. All right, so let's get
Yep,
this corner
it
cleaned up.
actually it works and it looks good. So now I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other file that I my area file too. So to actually normally I should have done it before on the big one, but I wasn't. I didn't. I'm trying things out as I go along here. So that means that not everything. I don't work from experience and a checklist. So this is kind of slightly uncharted territory. So I'm figuring it out. So now I need to save again.
I was watching a video today about a new procedure that's available for Blender,
Uh huh.
and I'm like, it's good when you're like in a AAA studio and you're on um, time crunches for everything.
Yeah.
But when you're working like I do, where it's just like for the fun of it or just doing a casual project,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason to do some of that because they cut corners, they do, procedural modeling, and
Mm-hmm.
procedural modeling might be cool. Not say anything about that, bad about that, but it's not really needed for what I do.
Yep.
So I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Nope, won't ever do it.
Yep.
Yep, that's cool. Won't ever do it.
Yep.
So
In the
it's
meantime, I can show a little bit. Here is a special globe. This is a project I'm working on for one of my top patrons. Is a version of Earth. I hope that he doesn't mind if I share a little glimpse at it here. I'm working on a separate model of Earth for him. So that is something that I have in the
ooh,
ropes here. So yep.
nice.
So it's a separate version of stuff here. So yep.
Mhm.
So that is, I've sent it off to him today with the whole shebang here. So I'm not going to show the other side because that's for him to show. But it's one of these centered on the flannies with earth this bit, and has some cool features. So at first I was like, what? I'm not sure I like that one, but after working on it, the weird thing is now I'm starting to fall in love with lots of different versions of the planet. So when I saw Greyhawk rebooted at first, I was like, nah, I don't like that. But now I'm like, yeah, that's an interesting way of doing it. So I'm getting more and more open-minded, which is really good. So I'm thankful to Joe Block, Greyhawk rebooted, a whole bunch of others that done models of the whole planet, because that inspired me. So now when I'm going to tackle the do the next version of my version of the planet, then that I'm really inspired. So I will not copy. I might take a detail or two from other projects, but I have more ideas and more inspiration, which is really good.
It's always good to have inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yep.
these models that I'm working on now are fantastic for detail.
Yeah.
The actual model when it's in full color is really, really
Yeah.
nice.
So is that
But
a
it's,
straight?
I'm going, go ahead.
Is that a straight staircase, or is it a spiral one?
It is a straight staircase, just a
Ah, okay. There
little
you go.
flight of
Yeah.
stairs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But what I'm trying to do is make it so it's nice and square so I can just use it over and over and over again with different,
Ah.
like marble
Yeah.
texture or wood one time or
Well, you're
whatever.
doing fantasy. It needs to fit in the 5 feet square, 5 foot square.
Uh,
Yeah.
It will.
Yep.
I'm
Hmm.
working on it.
That's
I got to clean up
the
the
key.
model,
Yep.
and then I'm going to start making my own, um, for lack of a better word, panels
Hmm.
that make up the rooms. It's probably going to be a 15 by 15 foot
Uh-huh.
square
Yeah.
for each wall and each floor tile, just so ease of use.
Hmm.
Or maybe I'll just make them 5 feet. But then I got to make a ton more if I make them that small.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be 15 by 15, so
Hmm.
your walls will all be 15 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of people do the 10 foot, but then the 10 foot gets to be kind of hard to manage too. So we'll see. I haven't got that far yet on planning how I want to do them because I have to draw out the tiles I want to make. Right now, I'm just fighting with a staircase, trying to get it back to where it's
Yep.
supposed to be instead of so crooked.
And
Um,
this actually worked. Now I incorporated the old texture into the new, and it looks good enough that I can now merge these three to layers together.
which
And
they did a wonderful job of making it as crooked as it could possibly be.
okay, yep.
Man, what a mess.
So now and when I see these areas, ooh, yeah. It's when I see terrain like this that I go like, yeah, this looks really
When you get
good.
a tickle,
Yeah, I get a tickle when I see
it's like,
things like
woohoo,
this,
yes.
and yeah. So I'm going to import the mask for tributaries and stuff, so I can that's the next project now. So now I'm going to save this um, as a copy. I'll save it under here, so we have that Shield Lens 1. So I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it Audit Area. That's awesome. David, that's awesome.
Yep. Uh, that would be more my style, not hers.
Yep.
I would do something like that and say, here's a new model for you, a
Yep.
rock. Hmm.
But the good thing is now my computer is powerful enough that I can have the big file open in the background and copy and paste between, and then when I do the editing, I'm working on the smaller file, and it seems to work just fine. So this will probably, it seems to be the way to go forward. And now what I need to do is to take the tributary mask here. That's the one, and I need to take the oldest. I make the tributary mask.
Okay,
There we
getting
go.
there, slow but sure.
And then I'll do. And
Edges.
here is the beauty of having that that square, that rectangle. Just have it as a shape on top because it doesn't take any uh, take much room in the file. and I can just control click and I will get that mask and it will be the same every time. So now I just select tributary mask and I copy, not copy merge, I copy just that layer, and then I go in here and top and paste. There we go. So now, and now I need to now I have one issue. I'm going to remove the ocean layer, but the good thing is that I have the layer, so I'm going to create a new layer on top, because what I'm having here is I have all the little tributaries from World Machine, also small tiny rivers and creeks, but the problem is that I have the tributaries and stuff under the near div here as well. So I need to have them only over the land area. The good thing is I have the mask here that is masking off all that is at sea level or all the near divs. So now I need to use this mask here in order to, so I created a new empty layer that I will fill with black, so that way I can mask off the tributaries. So this is why having masks for almost everything pays handsomely, because that really gives you the edge, so you can quickly do stuff like this. So I will fill in a black here. So here I have the black. And now I go in here. I don't even need to do that, so I can just control click here, and there I have the mask for the ocean, and then I go into select and I inverse it, and then I produce, that was the wrong way. I realized that was the wrong way, so I need to, I didn't need to so invert it. So now I have black over the near div area and not over the landmass. So if I do this, now I can see that I have the mask is gone black over that area, and I only have the tributaries over the land. So I can do, I apply the mask and then I merge this one down. So now I have a tributary mask that is only over land here. So now if I want to have a blue, I can actually take this blue layer and just duplicate it and call this rivers or tributaries.
No, I don't want to do that.
And then I go in here and I select color range and I take all the white ones, it's in there. And these are the operations that will take forever. If I try to do this on a 65,000 pixel image, it wouldn't, even if it works, each of these commands, I will be back to using my old computer again when every little command takes 5 minutes. So here I can actually do it real quick. So now I delete this layer mask, and since I have a selection, I can just create a new layer mask, and if I go in here, I can actually do normal, and now I will have rivers. Yes, everywhere here where the mask is, I actually have rivers. So before I had these were just gray. So some of them were part of the texture and some of them were not. So now I actually have tributaries like this, so I can more easily. And what I do, I blend them in. I give them a layer style, so I can blend them in and do that. But right now, all I need to do is to make sure the tributaries is locked. It is locked. So now I just have it as a layer on top, so I can much easier see what I'm doing with the textures and stuff. So now I'm going to save this again.
Let's see. Delete this face because it's been a pain. Face. Now, this one.
So this is not particularly exciting, but it is a very, it's satisfying to look at. It's kind of cool when you edit the final maps here. And now it's time to do something about these two dark mountains. So they are part of the basic textures. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to, I'll try and see if I can take the whole thing into a camera raw filter and see if that works. No, it's too big. So what I do is that I start working on the northern part of the mountains because I have a northern part here and a southern part there. So I just take this area here,
Hmm.
copy and paste. There we go. And now I can click and select and just work on this, and now it should work, hopefully. Or I have to copy it out to another file. Yeah, it worked. Okay, good. So now I need to start tweaking here. So now I can either go in and take the dark bits out here and do them a little bit like this, and turn down the vibrance a little bit, make them a slightly grayer. And I can also go in the color mixer here and do luminance, and then I'll go in here and that shifts them a bit, and there's more red in the mountains than in the other stuff, and that I think is, and then we can do exposure a little bit brighter like that, a little bit highlights. I'm going to take that in, and there we go. Yeah, this, now I can see what I've done here. So I've gone from this to this. Yeah, I think that's taking the edge off. So now I'll take that layer and lock it down, and now I do an Alt and click on the mask, because now I masked off everything, and it's now time to take out my Wacom tablet, my pen here, and see what I'll. So now I need a big brush, really big brush, or fairly big like this, and I don't want the whole shebang. I do it like about 50%, and then I'll take white. And now I just go in here, and that was probably a bit too big. I can just go in here and paint on the bits that really looks too dark, and I can just go in and first I want to double check so I don't screw up the water too much. Yeah, the water is a little bit iffy, but I just have to make sure that I don't. I have to go in here and I have to use a smaller brush. There we go. And now I can
Instead of
just paint over
venting the
these
wheel,
mountains. I can actually
this is clear.
use a full brush here, I think. There we go.
That is not. There's hidden stuff.
There we go. So I do the stuff here that are way too. There we go, and make sure that this is the way to do it. So I take these areas that are too dark and just brighten them up.
Okay, so let's get this straightened out, which is. Oh, that's not the one I want. Yes,
And
it
now I can
is.
tell that I need to have a brush that is a little bit shape dynamic, so I'm going to have a little bit of an angle jitter, and a little bit of scattering is probably there we go, a little bit of scattering that way, because if I don't use that, then now I don't get like these hard edges, and the hardness is 0, but I'm going to have the flow a little bit, and that looks better. Yeah, I want to be working in fairly precise areas, but I don't want to have precise circles around it. I want the edges to be fuzzy enough that I don't leave a mark, that a trace that can be really seen, so to speak. So here it works. Oh yes, this is good. So now I can work on these areas, that the mountains that are a little bit too dark and gloomy. There will be plenty of gloom when I get to the Howling Hills. I know what to aim for, so to speak, and I will go gloomy as hell up there. But where's the abyss? But these hills are not as bad as the Howling Hills, so I want them a little bit lightened up, a little bit too dark and gloomy. And I've also come up with some ideas in World Machine to do old cracked hills. So I'm going. That was something I will test this weekend. I'll do some tests. I've come up with some ideas on, because the erosion is it's not good enough. The erosion looks, it looks great in some areas, but once you start looking at the cliffs up close, you start seeing like this, that the erosion looks uniform in a lot of areas, and it looks kind of too uniform. So I need to go in and blur and do various stuff like this. So it looks fantastic at this resolution, and so I need to go in and do tricks and blurry stuff. But I have some ideas that I'm going to do in. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Thank you so much. So I have some ideas for how to go in and help erosion to be more kind of not so uniform. And so I'm going to do some test runs on that in this weekend. So I can report back in future mapping streams on how to do it, if it's a success or not.
Well, you seem to be the only one who's trying new things because all I see is the same kind of art style in other RPG maps.
Oh,
So,
well, I'm kind of crazy over the top with this. So I've seen more and more stuff
but
coming, but
again,
yeah, I've seen
you
more
know,
and more stuff coming. So there is a bunch of.
they're getting there. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give them
Oh
credit.
yeah,
They're
oh
working
yeah,
on it.
oh yeah.
But
They're
there's still a
getting there.
lot of stuff that is just the same style over and over and over again.
Well, there's an economic barrier to this. It's a
Hmm.
time and money, because you need one hell of a computer and a lot of times to figure this out. So I can totally get it. It was only when I had days and weeks and months plus the budget to buy really high-end computers, that combination of time, dedicate, stubbornness, and cash enough to buy computers that are really powerful enough to handle this. It's that
Hmm.
combination, and there are not that many of us that have this stubbornness to do stuff like this, and the money to buy really fancy computers, and the time to sit and play with it. So,
Right, I get that, but what I'm saying is a lot of it seems to be a general style,
well, yeah, and
you know.
I think there's a good reason for that, because most gamers want that style. A lot of them because they genuinely like it, and they looked at other maps, including mine, and they still want that old style, cool, traditional RPG fantasy map, for a lot of good reasons, because it suits some game styles really well. But then there are probably some people who haven't seen maps like mine, and similar
Hmm.
maps, and haven't realized that they wanted them or needed them. so
I guess
so so I,
maybe I'm the odd duck out then because I like different. I
mm-hmm.
don't like the same
Yeah,
style over and over and
yeah.
over and over
But
again.
but I think it's also depending on what playstyle. Meaning, this type of satellite accurate depiction, visualization of the terrain, for some playstyles it's awesome. For others it will be too much detail. It will clog up the gameplay and complicate things. So yeah.
Hmm. Hey, Justinius, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, and hang around. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you. Awesome. So
And
yep.
Canadian Ancient Gamer is gifting tier 1 subs.
Mm-hmm.
Nice,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep. It's awesome. Yep.
Even though it's not my channel, I'm still getting excited about
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay,
let's
so
see. What
it's
did
when
I
I
do?
see terrain like this, I'm going like, oh, this is really cool. So yeah.
And get rid, oops, wrong thing. thing. Get
So
over
now I
here.
need, there's a little bit of area. So now I should probably add some more textures and stuff and go in and start tweaking textures. So I'm going to save this. And this is one of the areas. I need to take the texture, I need to import the texture into the main file here first, so I have this as a base and then tweak it in the small file. So that's the reason. But I think it's kind of, yeah. Troy, I think that the gift sub from Canada is as good as any gift sub. So yeah.
I think it's amazing that they're given gift subs. That's awesome.
Oh, Patrick is awesome. He's very generous. Yep. He's one of the pillars, one of many pillars in the community. Yep.
Well, welcome and thank you very, very much.
Okay, so now I need to go in here and post in oh, Troy is, oh, awesome.
Ooh.
Wow.
God, look. Hey, little Mike, why aren't you saying something? You're supposed to
Cool.
be saying something.
Yep.
That's one of my close friends.
Yep.
So
And thank you, Troy. This is awesome. Yep.
he's a lurker.
hmm Okay, so now I need to go in here and get all the let's see here. Do I have shield lens one tech?
Oops. I'm
Yeah,
going to
here I
dissolve.
have all the textures and stuff. So
Okay.
now I need to start putting in
Can I just...
textures and masks. So we can take grass long. Grass. Here we. Let's do these two grassy textures. So now I just need to go in here and put them in, and these 64 pieces of each. So I just need to. And thankfully, the Photoshop have the so you can actually snip it automatically, so you don't have to. That way, you can just go in here and put the pieces in here. So I'm going to add these textures so I can use them. And this is kind of tedious, but it's still much faster than. Oh wow! Thank you, damn weirdo. Wow, this is awesome. So let's see what numbers we have. I even Twitch stats. So yeah, this is really cool. Yeah, thank you guys. You see, you getting us to do this more often now. So yeah, so we need to start doing it more often. Yeah. So I need to. So I have this enormous list of all the files here. So there is 1,920 textures, masks, and height maps and stuff that are rendered from World Machine. And now I'm putting them together bit by bit here in Photoshop. That's the idea. So I can edit the textures and get the mask and figure out where trees go. And then once I have the final textures and the trees, I take them back into World Machine. I render the trees so I get the shadows and the knobs on the terrain, and then I save that out, and I have the final terrain with the final height map with the trees and everything, and buildings as well. So I put buildings and roads and all that on top here, and that's the really fun part when you start putting in buildings and roads and stuff. I just love that bit. This bit here is more tedious to get there, but especially now when I have to figure out how to do things, that is always a bit tedious. Once you've done an area or two, you can do things a lot faster, usually 4 or 5 times faster. So if the first one takes a month, the second time takes a week, and the third takes yeah, not that long. There we go. I have to make sure I put the right one in the right spot here.
Da, 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 da. Let's see, what did I just do? Okay, I did do it right. But I want to get rid of that again because I screwed up my step. Grr.
Yep.
Now I gotta fix it.
Yep. And each of these little maps that are images that I paste in are 8,000, 8K, so they're 8,192 pixels on each side here. So this is one gigantic image I'm putting together here. So,
Scale of 0. Okay, so.
but I think that the whole of Greyhawk is probably
Oh,
about 40 or so of these
zero.
from one end
That's
to
what
the
I did.
other. So probably about 200 of these areas is the whole of the Flannies is about 200 or so on these. And I can render one of these per day if I want to now. So overnight I can render an area like this. So technically I can do it
Whoa,
and
that's not what
render
I
it.
wanted to do.
Yeah,
Try again.
render it. So it's kind of yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
I just like totally surprised myself there for a second. I was
uh-oh.
like,
Yeah.
"Oops, nope, not
So
what I
so
wanted
these
to do."
there are color difference. These are the vortices or segments that you have selected that sticks out like that, or
Yes,
mm-hmm.
these are the ones I highlighted to
Yeah.
work on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm just trying to straighten the steps right now
Yep.
because all of the edges are like totally whacked out. And I'm actually might just copy and paste this section I've already cleaned up and then just copy it and paste it up
Yep.
for the remaining stairs just to make life easier.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I could be here half the night trying to get this to work right.
Yep.
And that's not something I want to do
Yep.
because they have a literal mess.
Yeah, and I have like three different textures to do like this. I think I have the two types of grassy textures, and then I have the
Okay,
mountain
so
texture, like
I
stone
need
texture
to
and stuff. So,
go
so this is
that.
now that I know it works. I need to import them in
Go
and combine them and
that.
merge the little bits, and then I can start using them.
And what I'm actually doing with all these things is I'm building myself a library of assets to use when I work in
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. That way I can do things again faster and easier because everything's going to be pre-done. All I have to do is apply textures to them
Yeah.
when I get them into Unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to make life a lot easier. So that's my ultimate goal with all this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, making them so they're 3D printable is a totally different dog that I'm willing to learn. I don't want to learn because you have to make sure every vertices is closed. You have to make sure everything is absolutely perfect before you can make them into a 3D print.
Yeah.
Um, I have a program that'll do it. It's an add-on for Blender, but it's very much more involved than basic video game programming
Yeah.
that I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing.
That is so
Let's
cool. Yeah.
see. I am going to get rid of all this mess down here and just put one in. I want one from that vertices all the way up to there.
Yep.
I want one face. Okay, now I can get rid of all this other junk that they have here. Clean up the mess, so to speak, because
Yep.
that won't delete any of this,
So you can
what
see
I just put in.
yeah, when you do what we do, there is a lot of tedious work like this. You
Let's
have to
see. I want to leave that one for
sit
the
and do the.
moment.
The thing is to figure
There we
out
go.
which way to do the tedious work more effective.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people would just do a brand new model for this, but
Uh huh.
I like the idea of cleaning up somebody else's stuff
Yeah.
and just saying, yeah, I'm going to fix it so it works the way I want it to
Well,
work.
technically, that's what I'm doing too. I'm clean. I'm making a better version of the Greyhawk map. So
Hmm. Yep.
I've already done it once, so now I need to do it again. So yeah.
And a lot of times this is working towards trouble solving.
Yeah.
If I get into a custom model and I don't know how to fix it, I'm like,
Yeah.
some of this stuff will make it so I can learn how to fix things too,
Hmm. And
or what I need to do to fix it.
yeah, and now
So,
it's kind of funny. When I did the first one, I was like, my first map of Greyhawk, I was like, oh, I have this vision and cool stuff, and I wanted it to do at this level, and I thought that would never happen. So at least I settled on something that was half decent, so to speak. That was at least much better than anything I had before. Now I wonder if I can get this done, what is the next level? That's like Skyrim terrain with all the buildings and all that. And I wonder, could we ever reach that? And before I would say no, no, we can never reach that. But damn, I think we can.
and now you know me.
Yeah, exactly. Meaning there's
We can
tools and
collab and make it look
oh
that way.
yeah, and
Come
modern
on,
day
get over there.
technology and
Hmm.
workflows and tools are getting so damn impressive that was even theoretically impossible a few years ago is actually getting within
Hmm.
possibility and then even
I'm just
yeah.
being facetious about me.
Oh,
I know you know a lot of people that are better at this stuff than I
no,
am,
no, I don't know that many people that know
and
this stuff and
but I would love to work with you on
yeah,
making Greyhawk and
we
some of
need
the
to
3D
yeah, we
stuff.
need to make cool
So,
stuff and we can yeah, and now we're starting to have things that actually start working, but it's so cool to and I always want to see over the horizon, so to speak. So now it's
hmm.
like what the heck, if this is possible, what the heck could be possible in 10 years, 20 years?
Yep. Well, now's the time to start working on this stuff
Mm-hmm.
if we want to learn how to do,
Oh yeah, I've just
oh,
yeah.
what did I just do?
What I'm a little
Let's
bit
try
worried is
again.
that I put 4 years
Let
into
go.
this project and then I realized that damn, there's a new cool way of doing it that is
Still,
complete. So
why
I
is it?
want to be fairly future proof, so to speak. So that's
That's going to
part
be
of
tough
it.
to do though,
Oh
because
yeah,
the technology is moving so
oh yeah.
friggin' fast right
That's
now.
why I want to work with data formats that can be
File,
used
save.
for future, meaning
Hmm.
this can be imported into game engines and stuff. That's why
Yep.
I want to
Yep.
yeah. So that was
And the
the
nice
key.
thing about Unreal and Unity and all those is they read height maps.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take
Yep.
all your data and make it into height maps,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
and bam, it's
Yep.
all in there.
Yep. So we have the height
So,
maps and the masks and the textures and stuff can be used
hmm.
in game engines. That's the beauty of it. That's why I
What do
think we're on the right path here.
what do you think we should do, guys? Do you think we should go and try to do a Greyhawk project like that in full 3D?
Oh yes, we should.
Well,
Yeah.
I know Anna, you
Yeah.
want to, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
I want to.
asking the guys and girls out
Oh
there
yeah, I know.
in Chatland and see what they
Yeah.
think.
If yeah, they think we not should do. We should have done it already.
Yeah,
We've heard that one
yeah.
before when we talk to others, and it's like, where is it? When can I use it? When can I print it? When can I? Yeah.
When I get done just figuring out how to
Yeah.
make it, that's how when you can have it.
Yep. Yep.
But no, I would love to work with it on with you on it. Get
Mm-hmm.
those words out.
Oh yeah.
Um, because I think it'd be a blast.
Yep.
Like I'm gonna start maybe with your Aldit city map or your village map and see
Yeah.
what I can do if
Mm-hmm.
I can make what you have in your brain as a
Yep.
vision for that
Mm-hmm.
map.
And now with Altamira, it's a good start because with
Hmm.
Altamira, we're going to I'm going to do a large part of what I want to do with Greyhawk and other places, maps of
Hmm.
interest. So what I'm doing now is laying the foundation for working on large areas effectively. And once I've now figured this out, I the last 3 4 years I figured out how to do this in the first place, and now I'm figuring out how to do it effectively in large areas, and that means that in the not too distant future, it's time to start putting it into. If Altamira is has the quality and I feel ready, then damn, then the sky is the limit. It's time to tackle some really cool stuff.
Hmm.
And now I lose
So,
my selection here because this if you look this, oh there we go, I need to figure out which one is the selected one and this is selected and then I just drag it in like this, so
so
that's
basically what you're doing is using Altamira as your testing grounds
well I use
and
this
your proving grounds to make sure
shield
that
end
it
is a
works.
test grounds and then Altamira is the first I
Gotcha,
execute it,
gotcha.
yeah, the first,
Yep.
so to speak. So this is the my research and development area because if I
Hmm.
screw up here it only affects my campaign and nothing else.
Hmm.
And
But yeah,
if
I
it
think it's going to
works,
be a wonderful thing to play with and work on.
yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun. Yep.
We can have so much fun with that.
hmm
Ooh, no,
We
don't
can
delete that.
start doing all the iconic, not all of them. We can start doing
Hmm.
iconic areas. Yep.
3 years ago when I did the temple, it only took me about 3 months to do that.
hmm
From trying to figure out what it actually looked like
Yep.
to figuring out how to do it in Blender. It only
hmm
took me like 3 months,
Yeah.
which is really good because I was a beginner back then.
Yeah. I was going to say next time
So,
you would do the same job in 3 weeks. Yep.
right, right. And it's just the fact that you gotta figure out the style and study the style a little bit before you can really sit down and do the project,
hmm
you know. That's why you hear people saying, "Oh, you got to have all these references." True, you do have to have references and understand how the style was built, but that's not all there is to it. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot more factors that go into making games and everything than people realize. I heard somebody complaining the other day that um, the textures in the game weren't on the buildings that weren't used by the players weren't good enough quality. So he was going to make it a 4 out of a 5 instead of a
Hmm.
5. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they do that for a reason.
Yeah.
Evidently, he doesn't know that there's a reason that it's done
Well,
that
the
way.
problem is that we all emphasize different aspects of something. So
Hmm
for some people, the textures are just there as a kind of a guide for
This
aiming.
was
Yeah.
a guy doing an
Yeah.
actual review on a map.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'll say it right now. It was
Yeah.
on a farm sim map.
Yeah.
Somebody was giving him a lesser quality review because of the fact that they didn't put high quality 4K textures on a building that wasn't used.
Yeah.
When that is a game already that uses a LOD system that is very, very strict. Because
Hmm.
if you're playing the game, you can see about 60 feet out from your tractor
Yeah.
is a definite circle where the LOD changes because of the level of detail on the
Yeah.
tractors and the
Hmm.
moving parts of the tractors
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, a lot of people don't understand that, and I try to explain it when I see somebody doing that. But this guy is a fairly well-known YouTuber, and he was giving the guy lesser quality because, or lesser review because he'd used a lower
Yeah.
rate of texture.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, you have to.
Yeah. But
You have to use the lower grade
yeah,
texture.
it's impossible to
So
satisfy everybody because we have
I
different
know
needs.
it
Yeah.
just frustrates me though when I
Hmm.
see that because that's
Yeah.
something that they obviously don't know enough about what they're saying before they, you know,
Yeah.
oh, they should have done this and they should have done that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why most of the people that design things do things the way they do. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, like you have reasons why you're doing things the way you do.
Oh yeah, because I'm stubborn, obnoxious, and have very difficult
That
needs in
wasn't
my
quite what
campaign.
I'm,
No, but
that wasn't
it's
quite
I
what I
know
meant,
I'm
but
I'm
okay.
very different, but in that sense. But a lot of
Oh
thankfully I'm
shit.
not the only one that doing gaming this way. So I'm
Hmm.
kind of
I didn't quite mean you
no, but
stubborn and obnoxious,
no,
but
but
okay.
that's I think that's what it takes to do this because it's kind of very
Okay.
difficult and you have to.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, so I'm being very ironic when I say that, but it's partially true. You have to
We all have stubborn streaks though.
yeah,
I don't care who you are. If you
yeah,
don't have a stubborn streak, you're not human. So,
exactly. Malku, it's the yeah, it's my Nordic stubbornness. I can sit here and be grumpy about things and just
hmm
work along on things here. So yeah,
And that's why I think we have so much fun doing it because we pick on each other constantly,
yep,
you know.
yep,
And we just don't let things, we let most of it slide off our back. It's just like,
yep,
whatever. You don't like what I'm doing? Oh well, too bad. I'm sorry. Wish I could help you out, make you
hmm
understand what I'm doing and make it better for you, but
yep.
can't do it. So,
Okay,
but no, yeah, if people would understand where the games come from and how they're designed a lot better, that would be a much more polite community. I'll
yeah,
put
but
it that way.
don't you think that will change? But do you think there is more and more of the players that actually understand how the sausage is made, or do you think less, so to speak? Or
I think there's getting to be more and more because there's more
yeah,
and more people making 3D models now.
exactly. There's the yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So I think that the younger gamers and the new generation are way more savvy in this than and they will surpass. Meaning, I'm old, so I'm still trying to learn as much as I can, but people
Hmm
that are young will come on with new fresh eyes on this and
Oh,
hopefully
definitely they will,
and
you
yeah,
know.
hopefully push past me, so to speak, and past and
Mhm.
do even cooler things. So
There's people that can model circles around me in their
mhm.
sleep,
Yeah,
but it's just one of those things that, um,
but you have to have a vision too. So
exactly.
yeah,
That's what I
not
was trying to
only
find the word I
yeah,
wanted. So, yep.
yep, to have a vision and that's something that I've been getting better at the older I've got is I can execute my visions better now and organize it better. When I was young, I was just going like, oh, I need to do it, I need to do it, and I need to do it, and now I'm kind of I can see a project and I can organize my stubbornness better, so to speak.
Good, then you can organize my stubbornness to match yours.
Yep, that's what we
Because
do right now. Yep, we're
that's good.
working on
That's
it
good.
here. Yep.
Because yeah, I have a stubborn streak to end all, I think, some
Yep.
days.
So now I'm going to save this again, and
What am
so
I
these are
doing?
just alternate. So now I'm going to explain it. So this is one of the source textures. So in World Machine, I actually put together a bunch of different textures to create this. So I have the text, a couple of different grass textures. I have the water texture. I have the texture for the rocks and stuff, and so on. And now I also, instead of only, I render the composite texture, that's this, but I also render just the different components of it separately. And the reason I do that is because that way I can use and override and blend the different ones into the final result here in Photoshop. Stubborn or persistent? Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah, I try to
Oh,
aim for persistent, but it comes from a lot of stubbornness and will. So what I do is that I import and assemble these source textures into the, I can call this composite. Oops, hang on a second.
oh, I keep hitting my middle mouse button, sending my computer into a tizzy. It's like, nope. Doesn't like it when I hit the wrong buttons.
Hang on a second here. Undo layer visibility.
Get
Oh,
off of that
come
one.
on here. Now
Now
I
merge and
undo
merge those. Okay.
undo. Oh, come on. I screwed up here. Undo lock layer. Okay. So I undo merge.
Okay.
There we go. So now
So
we'll see here what we got here.
now I want to do this. I
No,
think I need a new mouse one of these days. Mine
yeah, and
doesn't always click
I pressed something
select.
here. I pressed
Uh-oh.
something here. I probably need to go in. So yeah, I renamed things and then I did something. I'm not really sure what I did here. So
I would say it's stubbornness on my side,
yeah,
anger band, because um I had a father that was very stubborn and I take very much after him.
yeah.
So
But
very, very
now,
much after him.
okay, I all of a sudden the other layers disappeared, so I'm not really sure what the heck. So now the important bit is when you lost layers. This have happened before, so there's something that happens. It's happened to me a couple of times. So the good thing is I have most of the other stuff saved. So what I do, I'll save this under a new name. So and I put a B. Sometimes I get angry and just write screw up version or something like that, but I'm not going to be that desperate now. So now I'm going to
Hello.
save this under new name, and then I'm going to open the other one that I used to work on, and then that hopefully has the stuff left. So yeah.
Hello, Uncle Fuzz and Proto Ford.
Oh, Brodeford, hello. Yep,
Yep. Y'all
welcome.
came in and
Yep.
we're about an hour in almost, I think, aren't we?
Yes, we
Actually,
are
we're an hour
hour
and 20.
20. Yep, an hour
Wow.
20. Yep. Mm-hmm.
See, time flies when we all have fun.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So we have hype trains. We have our my channel's first hype train, and this is kind of
Fine.
amazing. Yep.
Cool, cool,
And we got
cool,
to
cool.
level 3 tonight, so that's amazing. So thank you guys.
Nice.
Yep.
Amazing, guys.
Yep.
Perfect.
So now I'm saving this again and then open it up and see what the heck I did because I did something
All
that I shouldn't
right.
have done. I pressed something and
Ha.
changed the names, and then all of a sudden all the other layers disappeared. So yep. So I'm
Okay, now I gotta fix this side. So we'll put a cut in here,
yep.
and then we're gonna dissolve that edge. Bam! All
Hmm.
better.
Yep.
All right, get rid of this edge because that's just gonna cause issues. And then to keep this from going crazy, I need to
Yep.
put a cut from
It
here
might be interesting to just do a
to
quick check and see because there's so
there.
many interesting news and stuff today. So I want to take a little quick.
And trying to make this a nice straight model, and it's harder than it looks
Hmm.
because you got to get certain cuts in certain places, otherwise the textures don't go correctly. Like right here, I'm going to have a problem with the texture
Yeah.
because of the way it'll stretch right here really bad. Because I have short faces here and then I have two long faces, it'll stretch. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of fudging it. Plus, I have a polygon here, and that's not going to work. Or an n-gon, they call them n-gons,
Yeah.
which has it's a spot that has one, two, three, four. Oh, actually, no, it's not an n-gon because it has four corners. If it has more than four corners, they call it an n-gon.
Oh yeah, because like it could be any type of.
Yep,
It's like yeah.
it could be a 50,000 face n-gon
Yeah.
and still be an n-gon.
hmm Yeah, I guess the
Uh,
N just stands for whatever number.
yeah, it's like an algebraic thing.
Yeah.
So, and I just want to go straight down with that. There, that'll make it nice and clean.
Yeah. And I'm
And
not going to
then
touch my photo. I'm sitting on my hands here, so I don't do a lot of happy clicking while it's saving because I screwed up this far. So I'm not going to screw up anymore. At least I want to fix it before. So
that's the one thing I named you long when I first met you. I said,
yeah.
"Are you happy clicker?"
Yep.
And you're like, "What's that?" I'm
Yeah, I
like,
never heard that
"Hmm,
before. Now I know exactly what it is. And then, yes,
"Yep."
I'm a happy clicker from time to time. So
I do it too, though. I get frustrated. It's like, "Come on, do it! Click, click,
yep,
click, click, click,
yep.
click, click."
But this time I didn't
Yep.
even. I tried to rename something, and then half the thing, and I tried to undo, and it didn't kind of it didn't come back. So for some reason I removed it. So now I
Okay.
need to to open the other file and see. So I'm going to save here first, and then I'm going to close
Instead
the
of
file here and see.
fighting with this, I'm gonna try get rid of that whole section.
So here we go.
Maybe create an absolute mess, but let me do
Mhm.
this before I do
So I've
that.
closed that one, and now I'm
Delete them,
going to go in here
vertices,
and
and then we are going to I want to copy, I'm going to go from side view. I want to copy just this chunk right there. Yes, that's what I want to do. So
mhm,
shift duplicate. We're going to move it on the z-axis first.
yep,
So it goes just straight up from where it was, and then we're going to go on the y-axis. And if I did it right, it should work perfectly to line itself up.
yep,
Ta-da! Now I just have to join it and make sure the things line up nice and square. But
uh,
that's the basics of
yeah. Wouldn't it be
replacing
nice if
stairs.
you had all these? You can just get them like all the basic stuff, so you don't have to spend all the hours doing the basics. You can just put it
Yeah,
together.
it would
Yeah,
be wonderful, but
yeah.
so many companies do like Megascans do.
hmm
They'll create 3D scanned objects like from real life,
Yeah, and they
and
wait
then they
to
let the software decide where to put the vertices and stuff,
yeah,
and then it
and
just
that
makes a mess.
yeah. So
You
when
know,
you really need to get an asset that works effectively, then you need to clean it up, I guess. So yeah,
Yep, and that's exactly what you end up doing is
yeah,
either cleaning it up or you rebuild it yourself because I've downloaded a lot of professional stuff that people claim they're professionals, and it's just like, really? I'm a beginner and I know that's a messed up mesh, so it's
yeah.
like,
Okay,
so
here we have all the layers again. So
and I want
now I
to go
need to compose it. I'm going
that
to.
one there,
There we go.
merge those,
And now I
and
need to take these. I'm going to
I need to merge
merge them
that,
together.
and
Uh, Now I clicked the
where's
wrong.
that one?
Damn, I'm a happy clicker today. Now I screwed up. I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm not really sure what I did, but I clicked on the wrong thing.
Oh, I have
Yeah, but in this
multiple
case,
vertices there.
I think I flattened the file, but in this case, I don't think it matters because I don't have any other layers. So in this case, I think yeah. So
All right,
exactly, yeah,
so
wrong button. Yes, Uncle Fuss. Yep, yep. So, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. So now I can actually take this and I can duplicate this layer just into this one,
oops, I don't want to hide that. What am I doing? Get rid of that. I want to
and
move it.
yes, it works.
Line
So,
it up
so there we
there.
go.
Then
So
we'll put
now I
this
can
piece
kill this one off,
in
and I don't
here
need to save it,
and a triangle
but I
there.
need to save this one. And first, I'm going to
Nope, I'm not going
put
to do
that one
that. We're
together.
going to go.
And this
Actually,
is
yes, I am. We
tedious.
got a
I'm sorry, guys, but
face.
we give you an unedited view of it, how it is to do stuff like this, because this is the boring stuff that I normally listen to podcasts or something while doing
Two,
this,
three,
and getting
five.
my
Yeah, you get a,
audiobooks and stuff. So yeah.
again, I've said this before that when you're watching videos, they don't show you the stuff that goes wrong.
No, and
You
now
know,
you
they
see
show you
the yeah.
everything is perfect,
Mm-hmm.
like they're perfect clicks, perfect this, perfect that. It's
Yep.
like, no, I know better than that
Yep.
because when you're designing something, you never get it on the
Yeah.
first try.
And but here having save often, save under new file versions and stuff saves you, because now I had this what I worked on. I had it already saved, and it was already
And you were
there.
able to just go back and load
Yeah.
it again.
All I
Hmm.
needed to do was save under the new name, open it the old
Sure.
version, and get it in here. So that's why you need to start getting this. So even when you screw up, there should be you need to have like a safety measures and backup plans and so on. So you need to work in a have your checklist run properly. So
Hmm.
this is the when it pays off. So instead of this taking several hours to fix, it took me 10-15 minutes to fix. So at least I I, I wasn't that worried.
At least for now it
But
has.
the thing is, I didn't know what I did. And that's the problem,
Hmm.
because this have happened 3-4 times that all of a sudden I click on something and all of the layers just disappear apart from the layer I'm working on. So, and undo doesn't work because it's gone. And when I do undo, it simply ignores that command. So it's something weird, and I'm not really sure what the heck happened, but it happens in Photoshop. I think it happened 3 or 4 times. It happens every 2 years or so. It
Hmm.
happens. Yep.
I
So,
know Photoshop has a lot of new stuff coming out, and it
mhm.
looks cool, but yet I don't know. We'll
Yep.
see. Um, I'm not saying no against it, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm just like, why? Why do I need
I'm
that?
I'm
And then
I'm the
it's
I'm the queen of maps, or the map goddess. Yep, that I've been. So yep, yep.
don't fill her head with big ideas there,
Now,
guys.
other
Come
other
on.
people have already done that. They
Okay,
blown me
okay,
out
good.
of proportion. So yep. Which I need that, because when you sit here at home and work on things like this and no one understands it, and then you go to conventions or someone, and someone like, oh, they're so interested, and a whole room full of people that wants to listen to you and talk to you. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't
Yep.
think I'll be able to go to GaryCon this year because of
Yeah.
expenses and stuff,
It
unfortunately.
is it's way out there, so to speak, but
It
it's a
is, and
fantastic convention, but it is a little bit off the beaten track. It's
unless
easy.
somebody wants to give me a magical room, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I just can't. I got too many other expenses going on, so it's just one of those things, and and it's all part of, being a convention goer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and no, I'm not begging anybody for a room, period. I just say it's just one of those things. So it's part of life.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so that was the grass, the long grass. Now I
let's
can
see.
take the
I don't want to be accused of you're begging for a room. No, I'm not.
now I'm going to
Close
take the
this.
other ground texture here. So yep.
You guys can just start calling her Khaleesi. She could be the mother of dragons.
Yeah, but I want I want to get into. I got a subscription to the that Vulgar Lang, the Conlang site, and I really want to do. Oh, I need to put that one in. There we go. I want to start getting word lists and stuff for the. I want to get into to doing. Languages and fonts and stuff. I really want to. That's something I'm desperate. I want to have like Iridian lexicon, and I want to have a Zool things and whatnot. So that's the.
I would love for somebody to build that
Oh
and
yeah.
somebody to fill out the dragon
hmm
uh,
Exactly. I want others.
dictionary and glossary.
I think Dragon and Elvish and stuff. You can probably Google for it and you can find it.
Nah,
Oh yeah.
somewhat,
I
somewhat,
think
somewhat.
yeah,
I will
somewhat
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Hmm.
campaign specific ones are more difficult, because they're the Elven. You have there's several lexicons and stuff you can, but that's Tolkien Elvish.
And the only one I've ever seen as far as uh like Draconic is the Draconic library, and that's really not that good.
Okay, I
So,
haven't studied them in detail, so I don't know if
um,
I need to,
it's
but
good,
okay,
but I
yeah,
take the stuff out of the Draconomicon first
yeah.
before anything
Oh
else.
yeah, that's what I've used too, and those are cool. So yeah, but it's something that I want to dig deeper into now for my own campaigns and stuff. I want to,
Hmm.
and now when you start having the tools, I want to spend hundreds of hours doing that too. But I'm I know what I'm doing in the field of linguistics. I'm really an amateur, so I would know.
Mm,
I'm really
I don't
really
know
an
what
amateur.
that music would be, but you can suggest any kind of music you want that would fit Anna's rise to fame.
Okay, yeah.
And Anna's like, "What?"
Well, the thing is that I should not play music here because that way it will probably
No, no,
be
no, no.
screwed up. Otherwise, I would
No,
not.
but he's just suggesting a song, or that person is
Ah,
suggesting a
awesome.
song that would fit
Yeah, that will be awesome. Yep.
thingy.
But I'm
So,
thinking about adding Sirenscape or something. We can have some background music or something that
hmm
from Sirenscape. So that's something I'm
hmm
thinking about. So yep.
He wants to see you jamming to a tune,
Oh yeah, I
Anna.
can sit. We can sit here and jam. So yep.
I'd probably start beating drum beats on my desk because I used to be a drummer
Uh-huh.
years ago.
Oh, I never been into music. So yeah.
I used to be a drummer for a bar band, and
Oh.
yeah, we had some really crazy nights, that's for
hmm
sure.
I've been dancing on a bar desk once, or bar counter once. That's it. But that story, no, we're not going to tell that live
We're
on.
not going to tell that
Yeah,
story.
it was a
Nope,
very
nope,
very
nope.
very long time ago. So yeah, that was a
Yep.
different life, literally or figuratively or
And
whatever. So
chat just went nuts.
yeah, yep. And
Oh, it's an
thankfully, it was
Imperial
long
March type
before there
thing.
were
Okay.
smartphones and stuff, and people didn't have cameras and stuff. So that was very very fortunate.
That's a good thing.
Exactly. I'm
Um,
old enough that my younger years are not on the internet, which is very good. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, now I'm putting in the next main texture here. So I think there's three textures I want to put in here. So I have them for future
Let's see.
use.
Do two more at a time here.
There we go.
And delete. Big step. Delete. Oh,
And
it
this
didn't
is
take it
really
all.
tedious, but it's needed in order to do a good conversion
Just
or good
this. And just this.
good texture editing. I just need to
Delete
that selection
vertices.
in Windows 11 is not overly I need to
And
glance at
then we're gonna do
the stuff here. So there we go. So I put the right one in. Uh,
put the right
this
one
one.
in, you put
Yep.
the right one out, put the right one in, and shake it all about. We can do the hokey pokey. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want this chunk minus these first. Get off my selection. Thank you.
Female
Jeez
version of the
Louise.
Darth Vader Imperial March. That's that's awesome.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Let's see. I want to get rid of these two also on both sides. These two. All right, let's see if this works, guys, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a clue if this is going to work.
Yep.
Shift D on Z axis. Bloop.
I'm just going to try and avoid clicking on whatever I don't know I clicked on last time when I've done this.
Actually, no,
So
I'm going to back that up a
yeah,
step.
put
I'm going to
put
get
this
rid of
together here.
this
So yeah.
stuff.
So I have three
Let's see.
textures I want to do
Get rid
this
of
with
that one.
at the moment. So I'm going to,
Get rid of
there we go.
everything that isn't flat off the bottom of the step.
So I assume that to edit one of these areas, probably once I have it up and running, it will probably take me a week, like 40 hours of editing to
Okay, I'm
get
going to
it
double
done.
the
That's
pencils.
my goal to have it up and done in about 40 hours.
Wish I could work that fast. I'm not that fast at
It's
what I
about
do.
5 hours of importing stuff and putting it together. That's 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And now right now it's 10 hours, but once I have it figured out, I can probably do it faster. But I can
Yeah,
tell that, yeah.
it's all that stuff, all the tedious little stuff that people
Mm-hmm.
don't realize is in the background,
Yep.
you know? Like we were talking the other night, if we do a project like this, I have to go through and figure out what kind of textures you want and, what looks good, what doesn't look
Mm-hmm.
good, and,
Yep.
what layer we're going to use and how many LODs we're going to use and all that stuff. So
Yep.
it's a lot of involved thinking. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes my brain says, what?
Well, mine too. So yeah,
It's like, ugh.
sometimes
Okay,
you've
so
been staring
Shift
at the
B,
screen and
C,
sitting here and worked a
G,
little bit too hard.
Y.
So
Yep.
I took a long walk today midday. So because I knew I would wanted to have a mid fresh brain and a nap afterwards. So it was good.
And a nap. Got
Yep.
to get the nap in there. Yep, yep.
Oh yeah, yeah. Dinner and a nap. That's
Hmm.
wonderful. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so I want to take, yes. I guess in a way I am making my own staircase here because
Hmm.
I'm not doing
I
what they
was
had,
thinking
that's for
that
sure.
wouldn't it be easier to make one from scratch?
Yeah, I guess. I
Yeah.
wanted to use what they had because it was already designed, but yeah,
Uh,
it's
you should
getting to be
probably.
much better to do it
Yeah.
myself. So I was just hoping to avoid some of the stuff.
Yeah. We
But
need to experiment with a series of super simple models for distance viewing only, so to speak. Just really
hmm
super simple.
yep. Merge center. Oh my God. I am Samuth has been talking glorious here. Let's see.
Oh yeah, I've
Rotary
been
phone.
looking. Yep.
It's
Hmm.
like the female version of Darth Vader. Blah
Yep.
blah blah. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, that French castle they're building using old methods is fantastic. I've seen a couple of documentaries, and I would love to go
hmm
there.
It
And
it's got it starts with an F. I forget what the name is though. I've
yeah, I
seen the
forgot.
whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's what they're doing is just amazing. They're building a real medieval castle using only traditional methods they used back then. So,
hmm
and there's been several documentaries in BBC have one I think, and there was a French documentary, and I think Discovery had a documentary too. So I've seen two or three documentaries, and I think you can go on YouTube and you can. I think some of them are on YouTube as well.
I think the Absolute History channel had something on them.
Yeah. There's been several
Um,
documentaries done, and it's like a museum. You can actually go there and see them work and stuff. And I think
mhm.
they've been doing it for almost 10 years now or something. So
Something like that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a crazy
yeah.
amount of
Because I
time they got
remember
invested
I
in.
heard about them, and that was way over 10 years ago when I heard about the project. Yeah, and it's amazing. Yep.
The first time I heard about it, I was like, "Oh my God, they're doing what?"
Hmm.
You know,
Yep.
because I had no idea what was involved in it, and it was
Yep.
just like, "Oh
Yeah,
my."
exactly. The land was held 20 years ago. Yeah, because I heard about it. That must have been around 15 years ago or something. And those were concept sketches and just when they just started doing the basics, so to speak. And then I
hmm
followed it and seen updates like every couple of years or so. There's been something popping up and they're doing more and more
Yep.
stuff.
I had to really give them kudos because they're using 13th century technology. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Ooh, yeah,
Yep.
I love it." I was
Yep.
having a great time watching.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the thing is, a lot of times, again, people don't realize how things are made.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love building things in 3D like they would have built it back then. Like building your keystone archways and things like that. And you can do all these fancy spin tools and do all this stuff to do it. But if you build it stone by stone, it wouldn't be perfect like they do it in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these things. Even hand cut stone is not exactly perfect like they make it. So, but it's good enough to fool the naked eye. That's
Oh
the
yeah.
big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one thing that people keep saying that drive me nuts in the 3D world is nothing has a perfectly straight edge. That's true if it's a natural thing. If it's a manufactured thing,
Yeah.
you can definitely have a razor sharp edge. So the delineation needs to be made between those, though.
Yep.
So just little things like that. It's like, really? It can very much have
Mm-hmm.
um, crooked edges and straight edges and blah, 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 because of the fact that it's a item that can be manufactured. It's been manufactured, so it definitely has a chance of being that way. Um, let's see. What am I doing? I need to straighten out my mesh a little bit more. I'm getting there, slow but sure.
Yep. And I have to
Uh,
make sure that I paste in the right piece in the right spot because otherwise it will not work. So I keep track of the numbers, and so I make sure that there's 8 in each row, 0 to 7. So this one is number 7. Yep. So I can see that is the right, and this is 6 0. Doesn't really matter with these because they're just underwater, but I'm just using it so I
Hmm.
can fill out the whole layer properly here. So yeah.
But you are setting up the building blocks for doing Unreal too, doing that.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Because
yeah.
doing Unreal, you have to work in segments like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think these are just slightly bigger, but I can cut out pieces that are unreal size, so to speak. So I can cut
Hmm.
out, and then I can also resize them in Photoshop. So if we want to take something and have lower resolution than this,
Hmm.
or something, so it kind of that's. But the beauty of having the data like this is that you can transform it, cut out pieces, and whatever. So
Yep,
and tweak
exactly.
it. Yep. I'm
And that's
even.
half the battle when you're
Mhm.
doing stuff is to make things that look like that.
Yeah, I'm even going to tweak
Um,
the height maps because there are a couple of errors in here, and I'm going to smooth them over in Photoshop, and then edit the height map texture back in so I
mhm.
can actually, because there's a couple of when I imported it from the earlier ones, there are a couple of straight edges that don't match properly. So I'm going to hand paint some of the height maps. Normally you should not do that, but if you just blur over a couple of ugly bits, I figured out how to do it. So yeah. But
Lincoln logs. I'm not sure what you mean. I am
no,
not.
icons for resources, icon logs or something. So yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah.
yep.
I don't think you made any of the icons for the companion books, did you? For Greyhawk?
No, I don't think I've made any. No, I haven't made any.
Yep.
Yep,
That was like when you were still an avid player of Greyhawk. You weren't really
yeah,
into
yep.
the building portion, the mapping portions of it yet.
Exactly. Yep. So if I've been active 20 years ago, I might have
Hmm.
gone. I started doing it as a hobby 20 over a bit over 20 years ago. So, and I
Yeah, because
started doing.
you were still in the military then, weren't you?
Yep.
Way
Yep.
back when,
Yep.
doing all that stuff.
Yep. So and then it
Yep,
was
yep.
my hobby, and so now I've done it professionally for 10 years, and I've done
Hmm.
it as a hobby for 10 years before then, as a serious hobby, and then just experimented and stuff before then for another like 5 years or so. But it was 20
Hmm.
years ago I decided I wanted to figure out how to do this and started getting serious. And
Hmm.
then 10 years ago when I moved to California, I started doing this full time. Yep.
And then you started getting the notice from everybody. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, what are you doing?
Yep.
And then we all said, Anna, we want you to do stuff for us.
Yep. So then I've done it for Kobo Press and a number of other
Hmm.
publishers over the years too. So yep.
Yep. Okay, where are my doubles at?
So I've actually mapped more area in Midgard than I've done in Greyhawk.
I'm hoping they really go crazy with
Mm-hmm.
Midgard now.
Yep. But not all of it has been released yet. So published
Nope.
yet in Midgard. But I've actually done more Midgard than Greyhawk in in that, but hasn't been published yet. So about 2/3 have been published that I've done for Midgard, but it's a whole bunch of it hasn't been published. So when it comes to square miles mapped, I'm ahead in Midgard. So, but that is something I want
Hmm.
to rectify by doing more Greyhawk stuff. But on the other hand, we have to say Greyhawk. I will do it all over again. So that would put me back. But I want to do a lot of the work on the rest of the planet too. So and that was something I wasn't interested in until a few years ago when I started doing it, and now I'm really intrigued by the rest of the planet because it has a lot of potential.
Hmm.
So I'm yep
Yeah, and I've only
yep
been doing this for 3 years. So, well, since I met you, because you're the one who got me started doing this.
hmm
So, before then, I was just oh my God, Anna Meyer, oh my God. And then one of our friends said, hey, what are you doing Sunday? Which happened to be my birthday.
yep
And he says, be online at 11 o'clock here on the channel.
yep.
And then you popped in, and I'm like, oh my God,
This is
oh my
fun.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we started chatting and we became
And
really
we
good
didn't shut
friends.
up.
No, exactly.
We
We
didn't.
did shut up since. So, okay,
Yep.
now I'm in that inflection point where I screwed up last time. So we'll see here. So now I'm going to merge these layers, and I'm going to click
It's-
and not screw up. So my hands are here, and that seems to actually work. So I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to save. So it
Angry
worked.
cat. How did we get an angry cat face out of you, Angerant? Are you being a gamer? Is that an angry cat face? Come
No, it's a
on.
cool cat with sunglasses.
Oh, it looks angry from this angle.
Oh yeah, he's a
Oh,
cool he's a
okay.
cool kitty with sunglasses. So yep.
Okay, cool kitty. Then you're acceptable. Okay,
Yep, cool
okay.
kitty and a smiley. Yep.
I was gonna say, what the heck? It looks like he's got a really bad frown on his face, like an evil cat.
Yep. Awesome.
Oh
Yep.
man.
Kitties and stuff. Okay, so now I save. So now it is the gravel and rock texture to do, and then I think I'm done with the text. That will be, yep. Then I'm done with putting the
Alrighty.
texture in here. So then I have the raw material to work with.
Let's
There
see.
might be some more masks and stuff to import in, so we'll see.
I can't see.
But
Getting old, people, my eyeballs can't see these
yep,
lines anymore.
yep. And now I'm saving. I'm not going to stress it, so I'm going to actually hold back here while it's saving. And now I'm pretty sure that the file size have increased significantly. So yeah,
Yep, she's working on blowing up people's computers.
yep. And we have 0.0% dropped frames, so it seems to work just fine. So yep.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
hmm
Ah, got it.
Okay. Yep.
I was just reading chat, sorry.
No problem. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I see cute kitties and stuff. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I was like, angry cat? Why are you giving me an angry cat?
hmm
But cool cats are cool all the way around. I love cats.
Yep. Then you should get a cat.
I can't. My apartment doesn't allow kitty
Oh,
cats.
that's true. Yep.
Yep, I would love to have one, but
Yep.
I'd have to pull the whole um uh it's a support cat
Yep.
thing in order to get one here,
hmm
which I would never do because then that demeans the people that actually need them. So,
Yeah. Okay. Now save 50% and hopefully saved 100% here soon. So yeah.
uh
I'm
let's
sorry, guys,
see.
that watch this. We've been working on boring stuff. I was hoping that I'd get into little doodling, but I didn't realize that I need to. I screwed up. That set me back 15, 20 minutes. So now I'm actually back to where I wanted to be. So I'm going to import one in, but it's important because that way I can start working on this tomorrow and on Sunday as well. Because that way I figured out how to do it with Altamira, so I can start that on Monday and work on that properly. So and then
And
we'll see if we,
Sunday
yeah.
I'll be playing Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, cool.
So,
Yeah.
we have our regular game for Call of
hmm
Cthulhu.
Yeah, we don't have our game that we stream is next weekend, not this weekend. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's next weekend again. So yeah, but there's no Lord Gusum. There's no Gabin tomorrow. So the Gabin is on Monday for football reasons, I think. So or on Sunday. So it's I'm actually have a whole weekend off. I haven't had that in I don't know how many, probably a year or two since I
10
haven't.
years.
Yeah, no, not 10 years, but at least like almost a year. I think I haven't had any streams for a Sunday without any commitments to stream or game or something like that. So
Mhm.
I'm going to sit and do a lot of
Oh, what
photoshopping,
did I
and
do?
then I will. That but we're supposed to get rain and a little bit of bad weather. So I will probably do a whole bunch of photoshopping and catch up on my Netflix and podcasts and stuff like that
Hmm.
for this weekend. So this is what I'm. Okay, now I've saved. So okay, let's do. We have another. We have 10 minutes. So then I'm going to put this in here and put the gravel and rock texture in here. So I'm going to put that in here. There we go.
Oops, wrong one.
Gravel and rock.
Make sure I get those all the same height. And then let's get these. Oop. Still got some straightening to do, but this is going much better than trying to join their mess
Okay.
together.
I can't understand how you can see. I just see a jumble of brown and in different, like little, yeah,
It's
related.
funny how your eyes get used to it after a while. Your eyes
Yeah.
just go, oh, that
Well,
line goes to that
yeah,
line.
it's the same thing when I do my spaghetti in World Machine, and others just see those weird spaghetti and they're like, "Oh, how the heck?" But
Yep.
once when because I'm cooking it, I can understand how the heck it works. So yeah.
Yeah. I had somebody, one of my friends, say that one night during we are gaming and doing something. We're talking about 3D, and he goes, "Spaghetti." I'm like, "What?" And really, he goes, "Well, like the spaghetti you do when you do the Unreal."
Hmm.
Oh, you mean the texturing? Oh,
Yep,
oh. He
yep,
goes, "Yeah, spaghetti." I'm
yep.
like,
When
"Oh,
you yep, and World Machine is definitely spaghetti. Yeah, it's terrible
spaghetti
spaghetti.
related."
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it just totally threw me off guard because we're in the middle of playing like a game like Ghost Recon
Yep.
Wildlands and
Hmm.
spaghetti. I'm like, what? It's like, okay.
Yep. That's occupational hazards
Yeah.
in our job. People will say
I was
that.
like,
How's your
what?
spaghetti going? And yeah,
Yep.
when people come in here, I'm doing World Machine, and all they see is these little white lines going in threads going everywhere across the screen. That's why it's good
Yep.
when you work with things like World Machine and that type of programming for a week. It's wonderful to just doodle in Photoshop. It's fantastic. It's
Hmm.
very relaxing and stuff. So in that sense, I love. This is the tedious bit to set it up. Once you've set it up and you can start actually doodling things in, I just love that bit. So
Yeah, that's the tedious part, is like you say, the
mm-hmm.
setup.
Yep, set it up, and especially now when you work in areas that are these enormous, because you have to kind of check out a little bit and work on a bit by bit. But ooh, I just
Hmm.
love because that's world building. That's when you decide, oh, someone lives here. There's a town here, and there's a house there, a keep here, and stuff like that. That it's just wonderful, and figure out where the trees go and stuff. So that is,
Hmm.
I just love that bit.
Oh, I'm gonna save this quick, show them the one I just finished yesterday, finished
Mm-hmm.
making or cleaning up.
Yep.
Open recent ones. This is my one I just finished yesterday,
Oh, look at that.
the lion head one.
That looks great.
This
Yep.
is still kind of a mess if you look at it,
Mm-hmm.
but I went through and I made certain areas like a sharp crease on them to
Yeah.
make it look decent. So this is one where you would want to keep triangulation in a lot of places because
Mm-hmm.
of the shape of it.
Yeah.
It gives a
Well,
lot
you
smoother
need
opinion.
exactly. You need to.
Mhm.
Yeah. It needs to look like
Yep.
something in the
And
smooth
this
and
is the
yeah.
spaghetti that's needed to do the texture on this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
See, now you ready for World Machine in that
hmm
spaghetti. So yep. Mm-hmm.
yep, spaghetti.
Yep.
So, and it's just crazy how much you can do with this. Like if I wanted a total um like a metallic one,
Yeah.
all I would have to do
You
is
can
turn
change the
this to
metallicity or
plastic.
something or yeah.
Yep, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't see it real well because I'd have the roughness still
Oh
turned
yeah,
up.
but when you yeah.
Where's my
Mm-hmm.
roughness? Roughness, I have it controlled by this, so you can't really see it. But if I do that, it goes back to the full stone look.
Yep.
Actually, no, that's the roughness. That's the metallic look.
Mm-hmm.
Put it back to there. Yeah, that's the true stone look because it's no shininess to it whatsoever. So if I turn it back to full metallic, you'll see there's a little bit of a sheen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard to see,
Well,
but
you don't see that well in because now you were in edit
mhm.
mode. You're not in render or play mode, so to speak, or
That, and like I said, the roughness is controlled by this picture.
ah,
It's
okay,
not controlled by a slider.
yeah,
It's like a static mesh.
mm-hmm,
If I could turn up the metallic and turn down the roughness, then you'd see a glowing,
yeah,
like shiny
mm-hmm,
lion head.
yeah,
But the way I have it set up right now, it's that way. But that's the one I cleaned up a couple days ago. And I
yeah,
cleaned up this whole part here and this whole part down here and then straightened the lion head and stuff
yeah,
so you could see it. Because otherwise it was just a jumble of pieces and
mm-hmm,
mess and it was just
yeah.
awful.
But I'm going to do
So,
a little world machine test tomorrow, and what I want to do is that I'm going to create a jumble of, and I'm thinking I'm going to use either I'm going to try and use a tool that I have that is called Filter Forge that can do filters and textures. So Filter Forge it's a texture tool, and I'm going to create like a cross hatch with lines and stuff, and then I'm going to tweak those lines both a little bit in Photoshop and then in World Machine, and then superimpose them and have them cut through the rock, and that way I can do things that looks more natural, so to speak, and help erosion on. So I'm going to tweak
mhm.
that because erosion looks a little bit too too kind of stereotypical, so to speak. It looks too the same everywhere. So I want to kind of spice it up and make sure that it looks more natural. So I'm going to try that out and test it.
This thing is always going into perspective mode and it messes with my eyes.
Yep.
Go
There we go.
side view. See through. Y0. Sorry, guys.
It's enough that you did it. You triggered my tickle here. So yeah.
My throat all of a sudden will do that. It's just completely dry,
yeah.
and it's like, ugh. So I try not to cough into the mic, but since I don't have my mute button handy, it's hard to not to do. So
I have my flip it up microphone, so I flip it away when I usually when I do it. So okay, here we have Scragholm Island is coming into shape here. So here we have the rocky bits of Scragholm Island, or Scragholm Isle, and here we have the.
Okay.
There we go. So I'm going to press my luck and do the same thing, and then put them together and see if I hopefully not lose all the. I realize I can actually make these in separate files, and I don't have to make them in the master file. That's another way I realize that I can actually put them together and save them out separately. That might be a better thing. So yeah.
Now comes the part of putting in my precise cuts where I want to do the details so my textures don't stretch. That's the part I'm working on now, and that could be tedious too, to make sure that falls in the right way. And that is okay there. So I want to make a face here. Let's see if I can cut it. We'll just make a really big face. And then we will go in with the cutting tool and go all the way across. I'll probably edit that once I get done putting all my other cuts in, but at least it's there. Because I have a cut here that I need to do. And then I'll go back in and straighten them again like it just did a little bit ago. And we're going to go all the way down. And you can see how my shading has changed just by putting that little cut in. So it's crazy. The amount of change you can do in a model just by putting certain cuts in. Let's see. I need a cut here.
And now I'm working on the northern mouth of the Veng River here. And putting in the...
And where's the Veng again?
The Veng River is from Nyrdiv to... From Wysteel Lake to Nyrdiv is the Veng River. So we have Foriundi on the western side, and then Horn Society and Shield Lands on the eastern.
Okay, I know where you're at then.
Yeah, eastern side of it. And then Scragholm Island, it has like a delta. It departs into two, a northern and a southern part, and in between is the Scragholm Island.
And the nice thing is I can look up right above my desk, and I have the Greyhawk map on the wall.
Cool.
So, yep. One from Paizo. Because, like I said a couple times now, Greyhawk will always be my first love, but Ravenloft is a close second, and then Midgard falls in a third.
Yeah.
Always be my first love. Because that's the first world I ever played in.
Well, that's the thing. Greyhawk. Once you get hooked on a fantasy world, it's really hard for me to... I love to play in other worlds, but I don't want to run games in other campaign worlds, but...
You run what you know. That's
exactly. That's the thing, and half of it is out of laziness, and the other half is like I really like it. So yeah, I've learned to like it. But on the other hand, since I haven't run campaigns in any other world, I realize I could probably start to love other worlds too. So, but we'll see. Now I'm still hooked, and hopefully. Now when this debacle might hopefully be over, at least the worst part of it, so that means that we can go back to business as usual for a bit, or we don't know what's coming out with this, how this will unfold in the future, so we'll see. Yeah.
I hope it all does work out well for everybody,
Yeah,
but
I
I
hope
think
so.
there's
And
going to be a lot of trouble coming up for the next few months and years.
well, there will be there's every change is a lot of opportunities, but there will be some problems too. So I'm sorry
Hmm.
for everybody who get hurt in this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
It's good in some regards and bad in others.
yeah.
So,
Hopefully, they can be meaning that we can play more different games in more different worlds and stuff. So that's
hmm.
hopefully the so we can
Yep.
have the love spread out more, so to speak. That could be a lot of
There you
fun.
go.
Yep,
Good look. Good feel for it.
yep. Okay, we put in here. Yep, we have now done 2 hours, but I'm going to do this. Put these 64 bits of my gravel and rock texture together. That's the goal. So if you want to keep it up another 20 minutes or so,
And I'm good to go for however long you hit the button.
okay, good. Yep, when then we go on, and I might screw up, so then we in for half an hour. We'll see. Yeah, but it worked once. I screwed up
I'm
the
not
first
worried.
one, and then it worked, and now it seems to work again. So yeah, so whatever button I pressed.
I have no need to go anywhere specifically tonight.
Yeah,
So,
that's good. Yeah,
okay, I got that cut in.
a lot of
Now I need a cut across the top of all of these. Otherwise, I will end up with issues there.
but it's cool to have like this is like a third of the shield lands in one area mapped at 5 feet per pixel. My
Mm,
porta potty scales, so it's kind of it's really cool. So now I
hmm.
can adventure in the
Um,
southern third of
Bring
the
it
shield
back.
lands
Thank you very much.
and start
Um,
detailing it.
hmm. And I do want to start working with you on that project. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
we
I
should
just need
definitely.
a copy of your splat maps,
Yep.
so
Mm-hmm.
I can figure out what I need to do with the
Yep.
texturing.
Yep. I'll cut out that area once I have it
Scale
set up
it.
here and give you you can have all the masks and all
Hmm.
the textures and all the height maps
Cool, cool.
and masks for where the buildings are and all that stuff, where trees are and everything. So
Hmm. Yep.
that way you can match it. That will be super cool because if we can have have that combined, that will be awesome. Yep.
Hmm. And we're whetting everybody's appetite.
Mm-hmm.
We want it now.
Yes.
Uh, okay, now I just gotta make sure these all get cut across.
At least this rock and gravel texture is much more interesting to look at from this this God's eye view, so to speak, because you can actually see more interesting details. But these textures kind of look kind of weird when they're separated. It's when you get them all composited, edited together with shading on it, then the goal is to make this look like a satellite image once it's all
Hmm.
done. Yep.
Hmm. I would love to see the Greyhawk world taken from space, like you're
Mm-hmm.
doing for that Patreon,
Yep.
and then take that into Unreal and work with it in there. That'd
Yep.
be like, oh my.
Yep. Arc Scott, we know. Yep. Everybody wants
Hmm.
it right now. Yep.
Yep. We want it now.
We've heard that. So it's like
Oh,
when you show a publisher something cool concept that oh can I have it next week? When can I have it? And it was like I've just figured out how to do it.
yeah.
It's
Give
like
me a little time to figure this
yeah,
out.
like 5 years or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a new
Um,
computer to do it on.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's kind of funny, but that's the question. Oh, can I have it next week? So yep. Oh,
Yeah.
is it ready? Can I have it now? And it's like, uh oh. So that's the thing. Don't talk about concepts. Don't show that because they were like they want it now right away. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
and they will pester you
And
forever.
at least Arg Scott said pretty please.
Yep.
It's more than we normally hear.
Yep.
Can we have it tomorrow?
Yep. So can I have it now? Yeah. It's like can yeah, and it's like uh oh. Yeah.
Hmm.
It
It's like, uh-oh.
took me several years to figure out how to do this, and now and then I got needed a computer. Now I figured it out. I have the computer, and I'm actually doing it, which is awesome in its own right. Here, I'm actually doing it,
Hmm.
and it's starting to look good. So
Yep.
I'm very happy. But it's been a long, slugging journey to get here. So yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely us. I've been here 3 years and you've been trying to perfect certain methods of it for over
hmm
3 years.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yep.
I remember the night you figured out the rivers, you were like, I figured them out. I'm like,
Yes, yeah,
okay,
that
okay.
that was so hard, and it's still not perfect, but it's good enough now. It's good enough.
Hmm.
They're not perfect, but they're good enough.
Yep.
And just to get
Well,
to good enough was
yeah,
damn
I happened to
difficult.
be online with you that night
Oh
and we were
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh my God, I think I got it.
yep, mhm,
It's like, okay,
yep,
I don't know what you just said, oh, but okay, sure.
yep, exactly. Scott,
Awesome.
you need to figure out how to do it and stuff. Okay, now comes the big thing here. Now I'm going to merge these together and hopefully not lose the rest of things here. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to merge layers instead of merge visibly because I think that was the one I screwed up. So I just merged everything.
In case anybody wants to see what I was doing in Unreal in majority finished project
Hmm.
in Unreal, it's on my YouTube channel, Gaming. Steel
Okay.
Valkyrie Gaming.
Hmm.
So, and I will be putting videos up there on my 3D stuff soon. I've been starting to do gaming right now, but
Yep.
I'm going to get into the 3D stuff
Cool.
fairly, fairly quickly.
Awesome. Yep.
So it's just a fact of trying to get it all um, set up again. And
Hmm.
every time OBS updates, it tends to screw something up on my streams. And it's like,
I've been lucky with my OBS updates. They
oh,
haven't
you are
screwed up that
so
much. Yeah,
lucky.
yeah. The presets and my sources and all have actually worked. So yeah.
Hmm.
And now I have a Dropbox message that keeps popping up, and I just realized that I'm actually syncing to Dropbox and I forgot to turn that off, and still the stream works. So it's kind of, I don't know what we internet gods I prayed to in secret, but but somehow it works.
Yeah,
I'm
it's been
like,
stable all night. I haven't seen any hiccups.
no, we had 0.0%. We have 78 dropped frames in 2 hours and 8 minutes. So it's, yep.
Nice,
So
nice.
0.0%. So thank you guys for rooting for us. So it
And
actually
thank you
works.
guys for the ones who stuck with us that night when we were having so many
Oh yes,
problems.
yep. So I'm glad I changed the settings and stuff, so that seems to work. This is the bandwidth we can use, and it seems to be stable enough that even if I forget to do all the stuff in here, it still works. So this is
Mhm.
really 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 good. So yeah.
All right, now to get rid of this
Hmm.
stretching, we'll go.
Yep.
Oh, I can't do it that way. Why are you not
And
letting me do
I'm
it?
saving this, and now I have the textures imported in, so then I can start
Okay,
doodling. So I will
so
do some world machine uh,
CLC,
experimentation tomorrow morning, and then I'll
CLC,
doodle and doodle and doodle over
see,
the weekend here. I have
CLC
some
0.
email to catch up on and stuff too, so I
CLC
need to
0.
do that too.
Yeah, I sent a couple emails out today that hopefully
Yep.
I get an
Hmm.
answer soon.
Yeah, I
So
have a couple of Patreon projects I need to catch up because people have sent me email with cool stuff, so I need to go through that.
nice,
Yep. Hmm.
nice. Couple little side projects to work on, huh?
Yeah, I have a couple of top patrons that pay me extra to have some cool projects, so I'm going to
Oh,
get to a couple of them this weekend too. So,
nice.
yep. Hmm.
Let's go backwards because
Yep.
I hit the wrong direction. But yeah, I'm haven't got any special projects yet, and I keep hitting the wrong keys. Um, but I'm hoping something pops up soon with
Yep.
working with 3D and stuff. And
Hmm.
the more I start getting exposure through working with you and stuff, I think it'll work a lot better.
Yeah,
So
we need to get into to we
scale
need to start
laser.
with Aldit as a test ground, so to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
work
Yep.
with this, and if that one works, then we can start doing crit wall in other areas here, and various cool working up for really, because there's a lot of cool iconic areas in Greyhawk that we can do,
Mm-hmm.
and
Definitely.
mhm.
And no, Greyhawk City is not going to be one of the very first ones we do because that's
No,
going to
we
take
need
a lot of
exactly. We
freaking
need
work.
yeah, we need to do areas around here first, so we can get the whole workflow set up, and we also need to see if we can do isometric maps from by terrain in Blender or something. That will be kind of cool. That's something
Mm-hmm.
I want to figure out if we can use the texture and the height map to do isometric, because that will be fantastic. We can do isometric
Mm-hmm.
maps over
What you
large
do
areas.
is just take your standard mesh and
Hmm.
then tilt it at a certain angle and
Yeah.
use your camera at that angle.
Yeah, because I think you
Um,
can set an isometric camera in Blender. I think they have
yep.
an isometric view.
It's like
So
a 26.5-degree angle
yeah,
you have to set
yeah,
the camera at or something like
yep,
that.
yep. So
Yep.
that's something I want to do, because that way 3D
Hmm.
maps is so cool. But I need to have a large area done first, so I can put height map after height map next to each other, and then figure out how much I can handle in one go in Blender, and then I can do one area and then do another area in Blender, and then stitch them together in Photoshop. So I can have like, and then import them into Easy Zoom or something, so you can have like a gigantic isometric 3D
Mm-hmm.
map of view of Greyhawk, so to speak. That is
Yep. Yep.
the cool. So that's because you can do in Easy Zoom, you can do terabits of or terabytes of you can do images that are 100 gigabyte or more. You can probably do
Mm-hmm.
enormous maps. So that's why I'm going to get a professional Easy Zoom account and start putting in huge areas in there, so
Mm-hmm.
you can go over and see things. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff like that coming. Yep.
I don't know how big a things Blender can handle because Blender's open source,
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. That's what we
it's
need.
got
Yeah,
some
so
sticky
that's
things, I think.
exactly. So I probably need to figure out how big chunks Blender can handle, and then when I've done that, I need to figure out how to stitch them together in Photoshop, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the things. So I have an idea of how to go about it, but need to figure out the exact procedure. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I've saved this and I've imported all the bits, so now
Oh, nice.
I
Escape
can
eyes here.
hide these, and then I have the terrain here. So yeah, now I want to thank everybody for coming. It was a little bit boring in that sense, but it's this is the life of fantasy cartography when you work with really large areas and stuff. It will be next week. I would think it will be much more interesting because then it will be more in the weeds. It will probably be trees and more textures and rivers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
And
it's
I
kind
got
of
some
cool.
crazy shading going on here.
Uh-oh. Yep.
It looks like garbage right now, but
Yep.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, but now we've done it for 2 hours and 13 minutes, and we haven't had any technical glitch with the stream, so that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you everybody for watching, and we will be back. If not, then we'll be back next week on this channel. So maybe we can get 2 streams in. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe well, we'll see. So and then on Monday there will be Gabin show. I forgot the time if that is the normal time or not, but check on the Lord Gazumba channel. And then we have a next Legends and Lore on Wednesday and stuff. So yeah, have a great
Mm-hmm.
weekend everybody, and see you
Yep.
soon.
All right. Bye-bye.